Hey, what's up guys, it is RB and Hardware. Welcome back to a brand new video where we're gonna talk about the top 3 best budget, high refresh rate, 1080p monitors for less than $300 in early 2022. I've seen a couple of comments asking about monitor suggestions, so I figured let's make a video. Now with so many new displays coming out over the past year, it can be quite difficult knowing which ones to consider and which ones to avoid. In today's video we're gonna look at 3 displays all priced below $300 in no particular order. However, each monitor has their pros and cons. And so I'm going to be as detailed as possible to help you guys figure out which display is best suited for your requirements, needs, and budget. Now spending $200 to $300 on a 1080p monitor is hitting the price to performance sweet spots pretty nicely, and at this price you're getting a high quality monitor. But with that said, let's take a look at my first recommendation. So first up, we got the 24-inch 144Hz IPS monitor at 1920 by 1080p or Full HD resolution, coming from AOC, called 24G2. Now 24 inches is the most common size for Full HD monitors, and there is a good reason for it. 1080p looks amazing on 24 inches as it gives you high enough ppi or pixels per inch to make the image feel nice and crisp without being able to notice individual pixels on the screen basically. Games will also feel super smooth and lag free thanks to low input lag and 144Hz refresh rate, making this monitor an excellent choice for competitive esport games such as CSGO, Fortnite, Apex, Rocket League, as well as fast-paced racing games. And because these type of games typically aren't too demanding, you won't really need a monster GPU in order to reach 144 FPS. But I do think it is important guys to make sure that you got enough GPU power to fully utilize the fast refresh rate. And if you are uncertain whether your graphics card is fast enough, I recommend simply googling your graphics card name followed by game and benchmark. Let's quickly touch on the available panel types on the market, and there are 3 different types to keep track of: VA, IPS and TN, and all have their pros and cons. TN is typically the fastest among the 3, however both VA and IPS have catched up to levels where they nowadays are pretty suitable for fast-paced competitive shooters as well. Now what TN panel lacks is a bit of color depth, viewing angles and contrast. IPS on the other hand fixes that with stellar viewing angles and colors, but on the other hand usually lacks a bit of contrast, and this is where VA comes in, which is kind of like the jack of all trades but master of none. Colors, viewing angles and response time are all pretty okay, but they're not excellent. However, VA offers fantastic contrast ratio and black levels. Anyway, this monitor uses a very solid IPS display, and for mixed usage, IPS is considered to be the best among the 3. In terms of screen tear prevention, we do find AMD FreeSync and G-Sync compatibility, and as for ports, we find one DisplayPort 1.2, 2 HDMI, 1.4 ports, as well as 2 USB. Lastly, in terms of stand, we find everything you can possibly ask for: height, pivot, tilt, as well as swivel. So all in all, if you're looking for a cheap 1080p monitor for gaming and mixed usage, this is the one to get. Let's move on to my second recommendation, coming from Asus, called Vg248 Qg. Now this is the successor to the highly popular Vg248 Qe, a model that I've been using for several years, playing all sorts of games, and I've been very happy with. So first and foremost, what Asus has done is that they're basically taken everything that was great with the Vg248 Qe and added 165Hz refresh rate as well as variable refresh rate support to make the monitor more versatile. But let's not jump ahead of ourselves, let's start having a look at the specifications. Now, like the name hints, we're looking at 24-inch, a TN panel at 1920 by 1080p, which gives us that perfect pixel density for a nice and crisp image. It's a TM panel, so while viewing angles and colors aren't the best, we instead get an insanely fast panel with no blur or lag. And so if your main focus is to use the monitor for gaming specifically, and you're leaning more towards esports and competitive shooters, then let's say mixed usage, this monitor would be my recommendation. And what's cool here is that you're also getting adaptive sync through both AMD FreeSync and Nvidia G-Sync compatibility, so even more demanding AAA games will give you that tear-free experience even at lower frame rates. The stand's got fantastic ergonomics, making it easy to adjust the screen. But again, the monitor does lack a bit of contrast and deeper black levels, and so if those two things are important to you, well, in that case I would recommend having a look at my final recommendation. If you got a budget of about $250 to $300 and you're looking for the ultimate 1080p high refresh rate monitor to pair up for esports and competitive shooters, I recommend having a look at the Asus TUF Gaming Vg248 Qg because it is the most compelling, best 1080p high refresh rate gaming monitor you can get your hands on right now. Now, as I'm making this video, it is sitting right below $300, but as we can see, it has been selling for as low as $229. And so if you aren't in a hurry picking up a monitor right now at this second, keep an eye on this one, as I am expecting a significant price drop coming soon again. But let's talk about the specifications. So the Vg248 Qg is a 24.5-inch 1080p IPS monitor with a whopping 280Hz refresh rate, making it one of the cheapest and fastest APS monitor in its class. Now, response time is excellent on this one, coming in at 1 millisecond with 6 overdrive modes, so you can really get the most out of the display. Asus has also done a great job of calibrating the monitor out of the box for best possible color accuracy. Brightness as well as contrast are also very impressive at this price point, with 400 nits peak brightness, a 1000:1 contrast ratio, beating most other similar monitors again at this specific price range. Viewing angles does not disappoint either. This is, however, one of IPS' strongest advantages, so yeah, it shouldn't come as a major surprise to anyone. For inputs, we find two HDMI 2.0 ports as well as a DisplayPort 1.2. We find a versatile and sturdy stand with tilt, swivel, pivot as well as height. And we also find a VESA mounting support if you want to mount the display on a separate stand or let's say a wall. Now for $250 to $300, this is the fastest and best 1080p monitor you can currently buy. And a nice bonus with this particular monitor is the versatility, where you can expect a great viewing experience even when you're not playing games. So when you're watching movies or you're doing editing or other types of stuff, you can expect a great experience. Now, if you found this video helpful, leave a thumbs up with any questions you might have, and I will catch you guys in the next video.